Finally, Adora agreed to meet Uju, but she had a condition. She looked at Uzo and said, "You can marry my son, Uju, but you must promise never to have children with him." Uju was shocked and didn't know what to say. She loved Uzo and wanted to have a family with him. Once upon a time, in a small village called Nkwere, there lived a woman named Adora. Adora was a kind and strong woman who had faced many challenges in her life. Her husband had died many years ago, leaving her to raise their only son, Uzochukwu, all by herself. Adora loved Uzo very much. He was her pride and joy. She did everything she could to make sure he had a good life. Uzo grew up to be a handsome and hardworking young man. Everyone in the village admired him for his good manners and his big heart. He always helped his mother with the farm work and took care of her when she was sick. Adora was very protective of Uzo. One sunny afternoon, while Uzo was at the market selling yams, he saw a beautiful young woman named Uju. Uju had a warm smile and bright, kind eyes. She was also very friendly and loved to help others. Uzo felt his heart skip a bit the moment he saw her. He gathered all his courage and walked up to her. "Hello, my name is Uzochukwu," he said shyly. Uju smiled and replied, "Nice to meet you, Uzochukwu. My name is Uju." They talked for a while, and Uzo learned that Uju was new to the village. She had moved there to live with her aunt after her parents passed away. Uzo and Uju quickly became good friends, and soon their friendship blossomed into love. Uzo was very happy and wanted to marry Uju, so he decided to tell his mother about her. That evening, after dinner, Uzo sat down with his mother and said, "Mama, there is someone I want you to meet. Her name is Uju, and I love her very much. I want to marry her." Adora's face changed when she heard this. She was not happy about Uzo marrying someone she didn't know. She shook her head and said, "No, Uzochukwu, you cannot marry Uju. I don't know her family, and I am not sure she would take care of you like I do." Uzo was sad, but didn't give up. He loved his mother very much, but he also loved Uju. He tried many times to convince his mother to meet Uju, but Adora refused every time. Months passed, and Uzo continued to ask his mother to accept Uju. Finally, Adora agreed to meet Uju, but she had a condition. She looked at Uzo and said, "You can marry my son, Uju, but you must promise never to have children with him." Uju was shocked and didn't know what to say. She loved Uzo and wanted to have a family with him, but she also respected Adora and didn't want to upset her. Uzo was heartbroken and confused. He didn't understand why his mother was making such a strange demand. Despite the condition, Uju and Uzo decided to get married. They hoped that one day, Adora would change her mind. Their wedding was beautiful, and the whole village came to celebrate with them. But the question remained, why did Adora not want them to have children? What was her reason behind her strange demand? The story doesn't end here. It continues as Uju and Uzo navigate their new life together, hoping to uncover the truth behind Adora's condition and to find a way to make everyone happy. Uju and Uzo started their life together in a small but cozy home near Adora's house. Every morning, Uju would wake up early to prepare breakfast, and Uzo would go to the farm to work. They were very happy, but the question of having children always lingered in their minds. One evening, after a long day, Uju and Uzo sat under the big mango tree in their yard. The moonlight shone brightly, and the crickets sang their nightly song. Uju looked at Uzo with concern in her eyes. "Uzo, why do you think your mother doesn't want us to have children?" she asked softly. Uzo sighed and shook his head. "I don't know, Uju. It doesn't make any sense to me. Mama has always been loving and caring. There must be a reason, but she won't tell me." Determined to find out the truth, Uju decided to speak with Adora herself. The next day, while Uzo was at the farm, Uju visited Adora's house. She brought with her some freshly baked bread, hoping to soften Adora's heart. "Mama Adora, I brought you some bread," Uju said with a smile as she handed the bread to her mother-in-law. Adora accepted the bread but remained silent. Uju took a deep breath and sat down next to her. "Mama, I love Uzo very much, and I want to make him happy. I also want to understand why you don't want us to have children. Please, can you tell me? Adora looked at Uju with sad eyes. She took a deep breath and began to speak. Uju, it's not that I don't like you or that I don't want you to be happy. It's just that, Adora paused, struggling to find the right words. When Uzo was born, I almost lost my life. The birth was very difficult and the doctors told me I could never have another child. Losing my husband and almost losing my life made me very afraid. I'm scared that if you have children, something terrible might happen to you too. I couldn't bear to lose you or Uzo. Uju listened carefully, her heart aching for Adora. She reached out and gently held Adora's hand. Mama, I understand your fear, but every pregnancy is different. We will take every precaution to make sure everything goes well. Please, let us try. Uzo and I want to have a family. Adora's eyes filled with tears. She knew Uju was right, but the fear still gripped her heart. She didn't know how to let go of it. Just then, Uzo walked in. Having finished his work early, he saw the tears in his mother's eyes and rushed to her side. Mama, what's wrong? He asked, worried. Adora looked at her son and then at Uju. She realized that she had been holding on to her fear for too long. It was time to trust and let go. Uzo, my son, Adora said, her voice trembling. I was just telling Uju why I didn't want you to have children. I was scared something bad might happen. But I see now that my fear has caused you both much pain. If you both want to have children, then you have my blessing. I will support you in every way that I can. Uzo and Uju hugged Adora tightly, grateful for her change of heart. The three of them sat together, talking and sharing their hopes and dreams for the future. They knew there would be challenges ahead, but they also knew that with love and support, they could overcome anything. As the sun set and the first stars appeared in the sky, Uju, Uzo and Adora felt a sense of peace and unity. They were ready to face the future together, no matter what it held. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Adora, true to her word, supported Uju and Uzo in every way she could. She helped Uju in the kitchen and on the farm, and they often spent evenings together, sharing stories and laughter. The bond between them grew stronger, and Adora's fear slowly began to fade. One day, Uju began to feel unwell. She felt dizzy and tired all the time. Uzo was worried and insisted that they visit the village doctor. Dr. Keke was a kind old man with a gentle smile. He had known Uzo since he was a little boy and was very fond of him. After examining Uju, Dr. Keke smiled warmly. Congratulations, Uju. You are going to have a baby. Uju's eyes widened with joy, and she could hardly believe it. She was going to be a mother. She and Uzo thanked Dr. Keke and rushed home to tell Adora the good news. Mama, Mama, Uzo called out as they entered the house. Adora came out of the kitchen, wiping her hands on her apron. What is it, my children? She asked, seeing their excited faces. Mama, Uju is going to have a baby, Uzo announced, his voice filled with happiness. Adora's eyes filled with tears, but this time they were tears of joy. She embraced Uju and Uzo, feeling a mixture of happiness and a little bit of her old fear. But she pushed the fear aside and focused on the joy of the moment. We must take good care of you, Uju, Adora said, her voice filled with love and concern. You need to rest and eat well. I will help you with everything. The news of Uju's pregnancy spread through the village, and everyone was thrilled for the young couple. Friends and neighbors came by to offer their congratulations and help. The moments that followed were filled with preparations and anticipation. Adora, Uju, and Uzo worked together to get everything ready for the new baby. One evening, as they sat around the fire, Adora shared stories of when Uzo was a baby. They laughed and talked, feeling closer than ever. Uju felt a sense of peace and happiness she had never felt before. But not everyone in the village was happy about the news. An old woman named Nneka, known for her gossip and bitterness, often had sour comments whenever she saw Uju. Are you sure you can handle a baby, Uju? It's not easy, you know, Nneka would say, her voice dripping with skepticism. Uju tried to ignore Nneka's words, but sometimes it made her doubt herself. One day, Uzo found Uju sitting under the mango tree looking troubled. What's wrong, my love? Uzo asked, sitting down beside her. It's Nneka. She keeps saying things that make me worry. What if I'm not a good mother? What if something goes wrong? Uju confessed, her voice trembling. Uzo took her hand and looked into her eyes. Uju, you're going to be a wonderful mother. Don't listen to Neka. She doesn't know you like I do. We will face whatever comes together. I promise. Uju nodded, feeling reassured by Uzo's words. She knew he was right. They had faced many challenges together, and they would face this one too. As the months passed, Uju and Uzo continued to prepare for their baby's arrival. Adora was always there to lend a hand and offer advice. The bond between them grew even stronger, and they felt ready to welcome their new family member. One stormy night, as the rain poured down and the wind howled outside, Uju felt the first pangs of labor. Uzo and Adora quickly sprang into action. Adora boiled water and gathered clean clothes, while Uzo held Uju's hand, offering words of comfort. The labor was long and difficult, but Uju was strong. As dawn broke and the first rays of sunlight streamed through the window, the cries of a newborn baby filled the room. Uju and Uzo looked at their baby with tears of joy in their eyes. They had done it. They had brought new life into the world. Adora, exhausted but happy, held her grandchild for the first time. She looked at Uju and Uzo with pride and love. You did it, she whispered, her voice filled with emotion. We did it together. The arrival of their baby, a beautiful girl they named Nkem Delim, brought immense joy to Uju, Uzo, and Adora. The villagers of Nkwere celebrated with them, and even Nneka saw comments faded away in the face of the overwhelming happiness. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months as Nkem Delim grew. She was a healthy and happy baby, always smiling and cooing, bringing even more light into their home. Adora was a doting grandmother, always by Uju's side to help and guide her. One sunny afternoon, as Uju and Adora sat outside with Nkem Delim, Uju turns to her mother-in-law with gratitude in her eyes. Mama, thank you for everything. You've been so supportive and loving. I couldn't have done this without you, Uju said sincerely. Adora smiled, her heart full. My dear Uju, you have shown me the strength and love of a true mother. I am proud of you and grateful that you are part of our family. As Nkem Delim grew, Uju and Uzo found themselves facing new challenges and joys. They worked hard on their farm, and with Adora's help, they managed to provide a good life for their daughter. The bond between Uju and Adora deepened with each passing day. One day, as the family gathered for dinner, Uzo looked around the table at the people he loved most, his mother, his wife, and his daughter. He felt a deep sense of contentment and gratitude. We have come a long way, Uzo said, his voice filled with emotion. Despite all the challenges, we are stronger and happier than ever. I couldn't have asked for a better family. Uju and Adora nodded in agreement, their hearts full of love and pride. As the years went by, Nkem Delim grew into a bright and curious young girl. She loved listening to stories from her grandmother, learning from her mother, and helping her father on the farm. The family's love and unity became a source of inspiration for everyone in the village. One evening, as the sun set over Nkwere, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink, Uju, Uzo, and Adora sat together, watching Nkem Delim play with the other children. Mama, thank you for trusting us and letting go of your fears, Uju said, holding Adora's hand. Adora smiled, her eyes glistening with tears. Thank you, Uju, for being patient and understanding. You have brought so much joy into our lives. Uzo wrapped his arms around both women, his heart overflowing with love and gratitude. We are a family, and together we can overcome anything. As they watched Nkem Delim laugh and play, they knew that their joy had been worth every struggle and every tear. They had built a life filled with love, hope, and happiness. And so, the story of Uju, Uzo, Adora, and little Nkem Delim came to a beautiful end, with the promise of many more happy days ahead. Their love and unity had triumphed over fear and doubt, and they knew that together they could face whatever the future held. If you like this story, please like, share, and comment. See you in the next story.